I needed to go get Kleenex today. So we went to the grocery store. Found a couple other good sales, so figured we might as well grab a couple of things before we hit Pantry Challenge. When we get there, they had small roasting turkeys for, you ready? 99 cents a pound. That's unheard of. I bought 4. 3 of them were under $4, and one was $4.36. Now they're smaller chickens, no big deal. So what we're doing is this. We're gonna see how many meals we can get from one chicken. Take a look. So I roasted this chicken. There's nothing on it. No salt and pepper, no anything. Now, of course, it's a little big, so the skin's stuck to the top. Just a minute. Let me defog you. There we go. So the skin stuck to the top, not a big deal. And I cooked it breast side down to keep the breast nice and, well, moist. So let me get a bowl. We're going to take all this chicken out of this pot. This is going to be the tricky part. It's still hot. So this thing, I let it cook for a really, really long time. It is literally falling off the bone. There is a lot of meat and goodness in this pot. Let's transfer this into a pot and let's start on dinner number 1. But we've got all that goodness in there. We're going to add a little bit of marinara spice because it's got a little bit of everything. A little bit of the toasted onion. Well, actually the last of that jar. A little bit of the marinara, just because it tastes good. And a tiny bit of minced garlic. We also added quite a bit of water. This is now going to sit here and happily simmer away. Well, that was a little steamy, but a little bit of chicken stock. So we're gonna let that get cold. Take all the fat off the top, and that's gonna be one of our meals from one chicken. Yeah, so when you put the chicken stock to cool down, this is why we get it cold before we take the grease off. Okay, so we took the fat off. Now I let this sit for a while because it kind of turns jelly. A little easier to get it out. Turn on the burner and in it goes. Now, I know technically I'm not using chicken in the soup, but all this was the water from the pot, the pan, the roasting dish, whatever. Added some more water, we added some flavor. That's it. And what I have in here are just frozen tortellini that I took out of the freezer, and I've just been letting them thaw out. And a couple of those spinach, what do you call those, nuggets that you get at the grocery store. And I'm not going to squeeze the water out of those. I want all the green and all the flavor in the soup. So we're going to let this warm up first. This has to come up almost to a boil to cook the tortellini. And I'm just dumping this in. Seriously, the easiest soup in the world. This is just what we do. If you have fresh kale, fresh spinach, use it. If you want to keep some of the chicken, put it in. If you don't like tortellini, make chicken noodle soup. These are just plain cheese tortellini. Fabulous soup. So from here, this is really easy. I am going to put some salt and pepper in. Just a little bit. So a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, and a little bit of the marinara blend. And we're going to let that sit. So about that. And now our tortellini and spinach go in. So this is going to come back to the boil, and it's essentially done. Now it is a lot of spinach, but the reason for the 2 nuggets is There's no meat, so there's no iron, and the spinach is just what I need. But there you go, guys. Meal number 1 in the books. Technically, no actual chicken in this one, but we got all that fabulous chicken flavor. Okay, so this is all the meat from that chicken. So this will be dinner number 2. So I'm just pulling out the thighs and the drumsticks. And they're just gonna actually go into this pan. This one's a big thigh, wow. All right, so thigh meat and a drumstick and the 2 drumsticks, there we go. Okay, this is going back in the fridge, and this, we're gonna make some of that cheddar barbecue sauce. All right, so in case you don't remember what's in the cheddar barbecue sauce, we have some ketchup. I'm just winging this one because we're not making a full meal, like big dinner. We have the Worcester sauce. We have the paprika and the mustard. Now I'm using ketchup this time as opposed to tomato paste. So I'll put a tiny bit of brown sugar in, not a lot. Oh, and the black pepper. And also, since we're using the ketchup, I'm not putting salt in this one. And a little bit of brown sugar, not a lot. There we go, cheddar barbecue sauce. I'm just gonna cover it and put it in the air fryer. In the air fryer will only take maybe 10 minutes, if that, because it just has to heat through, but I'm gonna put it at a lower temperature, and then I'll show you what we're having for meal number 2. Okay guys, here is our chicken. So, like I said, nice, easy, simple, and really, really hot. So we've got some potatoes and Brussels sprouts because we did a batch cook on the barbecue. Those were just roasted in some foil on the barbecue with some salt, pepper, a little bit of olive oil. Came out great. Oh, and some onion, sorry. And then the chicken. So this is meal number 2. So now I'm gonna feed Fred and I gotta go back to work. This is the beginning of meal number 3. You guys can't even see that. We have black beans starting to soak. So this is the day before. So these are gonna soak and they're gonna get cooked in the morning. We have an onion that really should have been used by now, but I'm not gonna waste the green. We'll put that in the salsa. So first thing, because hey, we are doing a clean out. So we're gonna use an onion that's probably should have been used by now. We did have a tomato that we had used for our burgers the other night, so we got a chunk left of it. And a couple of beautiful Roma tomatoes that are a little soft on the top that I got for half price. So we're going to make fresh pico to go with dinner. Now I'm only putting half of that onion in because I'll use the other half for something else because Freddie's not what you'd call a huge onion fan. Quick choppy on the top of that little green part because why waste it? Now these actually came in a bag. Now I got these a couple of days ago when I went to grab just a couple of things at the store. And the soft spot got a little bit bigger, but there's nothing wrong with them. Now, before I put the rest of the tomatoes in the bowl, this is where we're using stuff up. I still have some cilantro that we grew last year. Now I'm making the pico way early because we're actually using some dried ingredients, just so they have plenty of time to, you know, do their thing. All right, now the rest of the tomatoes. Alrighty, so this is the basics for pico, guys. If you had fresh jalapeno, you would add fresh jalapeno. I don't. Guess what? I'm using an Epicure mix. These things have the chilies, has onion, garlic, a few other things. So, what? Maybe a teaspoon? That way it's not too spicy. And, of course, you can't have pico without a little bit of lime juice. This will sit now all day in the fridge, and it'll be ready for dinner. But, gee, does that not look good? So we're actually going to put a little bit of this pico in here as well. And we're just going to mash these up. Now, the reason why I have them in this little baking dish is mostly so they'll cool down for me. Wow. But as soon as you start mashing these up, you can smell that salsa mix. Now, you don't have to do that kind of stuff, guys. If you want to make chicken bean burritos, you can put whatever you want in it. I just happen to like that salsa blend. Now, these aren't refried beans, nothing like that. They are just mashed black beans. It's the only thing I did. Now, these chicken breasts on this little chicken, these things are huge. So, I think maybe what? We'll only use about 2/3 of it, and we'll add this to our meal number 4 or meal number 5. Now, if I wanted to stretch it further, I would do less beans or less chicken. We would add rice to it. Like I said, this is not definitely far from a traditional anything. And we're going to add a tiny bit of lemon juice or lime juice to this. Mostly because I like the tangy. All right, so this has got to get cold, and then we'll put these together with some cheese on the inside, make them all gooey and tasty. Okay, it is burrito time. So a little bit of cheese, a little bit of filling. Oh, you can really smell the lime juice. A little bit more cheese because, you know, why not? Now, I'm not very good at burrito wrap rolls, but ta-da! One done. We did find one more wrap. I figured there's no sense in wasting that last little bit, right? So we're just going to dry fry these for a little while till they're basically warmed all the way through and nice and toasty on the outside. And then I'll show you how they look. Okay, meal number 4. We have got some frozen mixed veggies, the new bag, some of our potatoes. We have a leftover half an onion, some leftover roasted peppers. So we're gonna cook the potatoes and the veggies. We're gonna make basically a chicken pot pie, and we're gonna top it with herb flavored biscuits. So the last part of our dinner number 4, or meal number 4, I guess it really depends whether you're having lunch or dinner, is the chicken. So this is the great big chicken breast. So, you know, I think I'm gonna save this part and add it to our meal number 5, which will be a chicken salad. It is time to get the base of this chicken pot pie done. So this, by the way, first of all, just a little bit of garlic butter that was left over when we made garlic bread a couple of nights ago. If I make too much, I just save it, knowing full well it will get used. Another couple, so total it's about 2 tablespoons of butter. But I'm gonna add a little bit of olive oil to it too, because I just like the flavor. So when I make my cream base for pot pies, it's basically just a white sauce. Nothing fancy, nothing spectacular. Just a simple roux and milk. Now we're going to do an oregano flavor. So we're gonna add some oregano to the butter because it's dried oregano and I like how it comes out. And we're going to put in our few sauteed onions and those roasted red peppers. Now this is gonna be a pretty thick sauce, guys, because when I make it, I like it to be thick. I don't know, that's just the way I've always made it. You make whatever base that you like. There we go. We're gonna let that cook for a minute because I like to get that floury taste out. Let's grab the milk. Season it up with a little bit of salt and pepper. All right, we're gonna let this part thicken, see if we have to add any more milk. And then we'll add all the veggies and the chicken, and then we'll get this into the baking dish. Oh, that looks fabulous. Let's get the veggies. Okay. Try and put the veggies in without making a big mess. So we're gonna stir the veggies in really well. And now I'm gonna fold in the chicken. That looks tasty already, just saying. And in the baking dish it goes. But now to make the biscuit crust and get dinner in the oven. The topping for our little chicken pot pie thing. We're cheating. So one of the things I cannot make are biscuits. I am terrible at it, always have been, I will admit it. And this little package, we get these at the dollar store. So they're $1.25 or $1.50. I mean, admittedly, if I bought a box, it's probably cheaper. But these stay sealed. I don't have to worry about anything getting in them. I don't have to worry about dropping it. And this is the perfect amount for us. So we're gonna make these, but we're going to make cheddar and herb topping for our chicken pot pie. So first things first, half a cup of water, cold water. And when I do this, I usually add maybe about a tablespoon. There we go. About a tablespoon of an Italian mix of whatever you like, or not at all. It doesn't matter. Stir that in, let it sit for a minute. While that's sitting, we're gonna grate up probably about half a cup of cheese. Now I already have the pot pie base in the oven, because if you're gonna put biscuits or dumplings or anything on a pot pie, it has to be hot. If it's not hot, the bottom of the biscuits, they just don't cook, and then it just doesn't taste good. Now, if I was putting a pastry on top of our little pot pie type thing, I wouldn't have to heat it up because the pastry does cook. So since I did put a little bit too much water in, this one's gonna be a little bit tougher to roll, unfortunately. But let's give it a shot. There we go. The little bit of extra flour is not gonna hurt a thing. So the dish I'm using is about the same size as this one. So what I wanna do is I'm just going to do this. I'm not touching it, just so you know, guys. Just want to there we go. General size. There we go, our crust. is ready. So probably I'm gonna let that get quite a bit hotter. And then I'm gonna pop our little crust on, and then we'll show you how this is done. Okay. There is our filling, guys. And this is our crust. So, like I said, it is simply a plot. So I'm just going to work this off. Actually, you know something? I'm going to leave that on. It'll be easier to pull it off after that's partially baked. So we'll let it cook probably about 10 minutes, and then I'll pull the top off, then let it finish cooking. There we go. Cheater chicken pot pie. Well, dinner number 4. Let's dish this up and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, are we ready? It's the satisfying crunch. You probably heard the cat. Fred's feeding. There we go, guys. Dinner number 5. 1 chicken, 5 meals, almost done. And it smells fabulous. Meal number 5. So this is just chicken salad, guys. I have more leftover chicken than I thought, actually. So now you do chicken salad however you want. For us, remove my celery. It does look like I could have put more chicken in the burritos than I actually did, so. But all I did is I just picked as much of the meat off of what was left of the bones. And then the other 2 chunks of the chicken breast that were left over from the other meals. Because even though this was only a little chicken, it had a lot more meat on it than I actually expected. Which is going to give me a lot more chicken salad than I expected. Like I said, when we make chicken salad, we basically just put in whatever we have kicking around. In this case, we got a little bit of leftover celery, so we'll chop that up really tiny. From here, usually it's a little bit of salt and pepper, mayonnaise, some chives, but I actually have one of my relishes that I want to use up this jar. This is, it's like a mustard relish. It's that Lady Ashburnham stuff that I make. It's really, really good. And I like how it tastes in chicken salad, but, you know, all that kind of stuff. And we're going to use it up. A little bit of mayonnaise. And we'll see how much more mayonnaise we need. So this is all mixed up. We're going to let it sit in the fridge till supper time. We're just going to have this on, well, actually, leftover hamburger buns, and a Caesar salad kit that we have in the fridge that I picked up a while back, and it needs to get used as well. So 5 meals, 1 little $4 and what, 30 some odd cent chicken. We got so much more out of that 1 chicken than we ever thought possible. It technically was 7 meals. Because the biscuit top chicken pot pie thing, I guess, I don't know how you really want to call it because it's not really a pie, but that was actually 2 dinners in itself. We actually had leftovers the next night. And the chicken salad, because I had a lot more chicken than I thought, we actually had it for lunch the next day as well. So we actually got 7 meals from 1 little chicken. And yeah, I am counting the chicken stock as one of the meals. I mean, yeah, no chicken in it, but who's gonna waste tasty bones? And of course, I didn't put any salt or pepper on that chicken. It was just pure chicken flavor that went into that saucepan with the onion, garlic, the marinara, and it tasted great. Yes, I know I also missed the picture of the finished soup, but it didn't really look that much different than what you saw in the saucepan. And the burritos, I have no idea what I was thinking. It was a work night, so I kind of put them together real quick. We warmed them up. We had dinner. I went back to work. Now, the burritos themselves, they actually tasted great, but they were heavy. Now, normally when I do a burrito, I do use refried beans or I do something to the beans. All I did was mash those, and I didn't have enough moisture, so they were dense, beyond filling. Next time I do it, I will add some water or some chicken stock or something to the beans. Oh, broom. I was sweeping. Sorry, distraction moment. Anyway, like I was saying, next time we make burritos, I will add some sort of a liquid to the filling. It was way, way, way too dense. The rice would have been nice, but then again, if I had added rice and things, we would have been eating those for another 2 days. So, but either way, they tasted great. Anyway, that is, well, I guess 5 meals, 5 different meals, 1 chicken. I wanted to see if I could do it, and I'm pretty impressed that I did. But anyway, if you liked the chicken, 5 different meals with 1 chicken, give us a thumbs up. Go ahead, hit like, hit subscribe, that word that does not work, and go ahead and share away, because I'm just a little channel, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm having a lot of fun. Thanks for coming out, everybody, and we'll see you next time as we continue our simpler life here on PEI. Bye for now.